Google is another form of Chat GPT, right? It's just an earlier version. If you're somebody who's coming from nothing, your money is not going to be made on Bitcoin. Don't neglect and overlook white papers. I hear people say, oh, anybody who's looking at white papers is stupid. Like, you're stupid. I mean, you're investing in a startup. Hocus pocus, PFP, bullshit.
Yeah.
It's over and dead with. There's no money in NFTs.
Yeah.
The real money is on the chain, which is the blockchain protocols. So I have NFTs, yes, but only a select few. The next evolution of NFTs, which it combines.
What's good, everyone? Thank you for joining us and welcome to the Web3 Experience. Every week, we meet with the most innovative minds across culture, business, and technology to discuss how Web3 is unlocking a new era of opportunity for entrepreneurs, businesses, and creators alike.
By speaking with the builders of tomorrow and hearing their unique perspectives on Web3 and the world at large, we aim to break down the many existing societal frameworks that blockchains aim to disrupt.
I'm your host, Mosey.
And I'm Freelance.
And welcome to the show. Brando, thank you for joining us today. So first, just tell us a little bit about your journey, into business, investing, and what eventually pushed you to jump into crypto head on.
Yeah. So, I mean, the journey starts from humble beginnings, right? I come from nothing. I consider it rags to crypto riches. I started off from nothing in 2016. I didn't know much about the space. And I was introduced to it by somebody in Starbucks who randomly came up to me and showed me Bitcoin. I didn't know anything about it. They showed me this exchange, what was Bittrex. And I just saw red and green lines on it, and it just looked foreign to me. So, I didn't really think too much of it at that time. But another scenario came up maybe about a month later, and there was an event being held at a community group that I was in, and they were going to be talking about cryptocurrency. So I went to it, heard it out, and I was just listening to their scam, which was also a scam. They just pretty much wanted to get in people's money. But I saw what the potential of blockchain technology could be, because they were breaking that down. And I just saw that and you started to just immerse myself, because I figured that there was something here. Mm-hmm. And, I feel like God led me to this opportunity. And from then, I just immersed myself, studied, got certified in major different areas, Bitcoin, blockchain, through IBM. Then I became certified through the Metaverse in Web3 through a company called EveryRealm, formerly known as Republic. And, over time, I initially just started to and wanted to learn as much as possible before I were to come out and speak on this publicly. Because I believe in, if you're going to speak on a topic, you should be an expert in it. Right. And that's what I did. I perfected my craft, got certified in areas to separate myself. And then one day God told me, to go and be an influencer in this space, because there was a lack of influencers who knew what they were talking about, one, and two, influencers that had integrity. At that time, there was a lot of people who were just shilling assets to get money. And I didn't want to be one of those. I wanted to be somebody who would show you the other side of the coin, so to speak. And, I just made that pact with God, and I feel like God has led me to that. And, since then, of course, there was pitfalls along the way. I've endured major hurdles in life, but also within crypto. But I've endured them all, overcome them all. And I'm able to, because of that, I'm able to lead other individuals through my community called Bigger Than Race to success in this space. There's not too many crypto influencers who really get into this money. And a lot of them, they really don't even know what they don't know. So, I'm just thankful that God has led me in a direction, in a path where I can do something that I could control, and I didn't have anybody dangling over any carrots over my head to dance like a monkey, so to speak. So it's just been a life-changing journey, and we've helped a lot of people also change their lives through the works that we do. And I take full pride and responsibility in my role, and I want to continue that.
That's awesome.
But there's just been so much that has transpired, and God led me here.
Yeah, man. I truly believe that everybody who's in this industry and is making an impactful presence, trying to help people and trying to kind of shed light on what the technology provides, which is more opportunity for the underrepresented of the world, right? I'm Lebanese, and my culture, my people, our currency is completely inflated, like literally 98% inflated over the past 5 years. If we could provide this new sense of knowledge for people in other countries and other parts of the world that don't have the opportunity that we have in LA and Miami, it's like we're the most privileged people in the entire world, outside of some of the richest places in Europe and in the Middle East. But we are privileged as fuck. So utilizing our knowledge and our education to help others understand and gather these opportunities, that's kind of what we're here for. And that leads me to my next point. It's like, or my next question to you is, after you developed, such a strong conviction for the technology and for the culture of Web3, what were the next steps to help you maximize on this new opportunity in terms of your education, getting certified, connecting and networking with people in the industry, like outreach? Just what advice would you have for someone getting started?
I mean, the advice I would have for anybody getting started is to find a community and find somebody who can guide you, who's trustworthy.
Yeah.
I didn't have that when I came up. I was the guy who had to learn by himself and, be that spokesperson for other individuals. I feel like you need guidance, and you also need to know what you're investing in. Study. People's attention span these days doesn't afford them to be able to study and research and investigate truth on their own terms. Their form of research is watching YouTubers who don't know anything, and they don't know that they don't know anything. And I've seen so many YouTubers who act like they know what they're talking about, and you would assume that they know what they're talking about, but they have led people to lose a lot of money because of lack of knowledge and information that they're presenting.
Mm-hmm.
So find somebody who you trust, who you can trust. Find somebody who actually knows what they're talking about. And it's very hard. You know what I mean? It's very hard. And, you just have to take your time. I wouldn't rush into anything. I would try to learn and, try to figure out what Bitcoin is first, because that's where everything started. And, because Bitcoin, that is the blockchain. That's the mother of the blockchain, right? And then all the altcoins are the offspring. So understand what Bitcoin is first. And then from there, you can branch on and, discover and research other assets.
Yeah.
But, you want to learn the foundation first.
That's a great point. And so after you learn the foundation about, maybe you try to read a more concise version of what the white paper is for Bitcoin to kind of understand that in a nutshell, right? So after you've learned these foundations, how do you go about getting certified in these different areas? Are there certain requisites that you have to meet, prerequisites to get into these courses, or can anybody take them?
Well, anybody can take them. These resources are out here for anybody, but not everybody does it.
Yeah.
It's like going to college, right? Not everybody goes to college. Some people drop out. Some people say they want to go to college, but they don't end up going to college. So ultimately, it all depends on how you want to further educate yourself. I did it for my reasons of wanting to be a top expert in the field. I wanted to separate myself from all other influencers. And, I think it has done just that. And, also, I just wanted to know my shit, you know? So I just think, if you're somebody who wants to educate yourself, all you got to do is Google. Google is your friend. Anything that you want to find, it's out there for you. There's several companies, several schools who do blockchain certification. whether it be Bitcoin, Web3, the Metaverse. I mean, it's all out there. But I encourage anybody who wants to learn more and who wants to set themselves apart from other individuals to get certified.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think a lot of people kind of just get lost in Google sometimes too, whether it's from the ads or the so many different, courses mimicking each other, So it's like
100%.
it comes down to what you said before about just who you know and the connections that you have, who you can trust to say, yeah, this is a good course, man. Just take this one over the others. There's not many
100%.
trustworthy names out there that aren't getting shilled and paid to promote certain, courses, companies, etc. So,
Right.
so I like a little
Research
early
is
off,
a
but
skill.
go ahead. Go ahead. What'd you say?
No, I was just saying research is a skill in itself.
Right. Yeah.
Not everybody knows how to research.
Yeah.
Not everybody knows how to talk to Google,
Yeah.
and Google is another form of chat GPT, right?
Yeah.
It's just an earlier version.
Yeah.
So, I think, people just have to get accustomed to research. A lot, the world that we live in, people don't research. They take everything for face value.
Yeah, the world that we live in is a short dopamine driven society. It takes patience and it takes sifting through the bullshit to find actual stuff using Google Scholar and these other things that, you're taught through certain levels of education.
100%.
Well, for sure. So
Yeah,
let's
no.
talk about your Patreon community. I saw that you started a Patreon group and have a couple hundred members in there. Crypto investors or just people coming into the industry. You've had success over the years trading. So kind of just take us through that journey about building the community and how you interact with members and stuff in that sense.
Yeah, so I firstly started a YouTube channel, and I was just putting out deep dive content, breaking down specific assets, talking and speaking on topics that many people weren't covering. And I initially had people who found my work profound, and they actually came up to me and said, I would pay you for your deep dive content. So I said, okay. They brought up Patreon. I didn't know anything about Patreon at that time, but I researched it, looked at it, saw what it was, and I was like, okay, let me start this Patreon group.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to make this a business, right? So I started the Patreon, and just promoted it. It built up on its own, from people who watched my YouTube channel, and we grew it over time. It's been fluctuating over the past since I started it in 2019, but it's been consistent, and I've had people with me 2-3+ years, and we just continue to do what we do, and we provide content that you will never get anywhere on YouTube. It's behind, on the Patreon, and it's exclusive content. And this content changes people's lives.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people miss the boat on opportunities because they see somebody and they prejudge it. And
Yeah.
I have a saying: never judge a book by its cover, because that book can open up a chapter that can change your life.
Mm.
And many people miss the boat because of prejudgment. But all those who I resonate with, they take the step to go further in their education, and they understand that they don't know what they don't know, and they want to learn more.
Yeah.
And those individuals have changed their lives through the BTR community, which is a private Patreon group and Telegram group.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And
it's a blessing.
Does Patreon curate everybody together to be able to speak with one another through the platform, or do you guys have telecom channels off on other apps?
Yeah, that's why we formed the Telegram group.
Okay.
I mean, there's different tiers of the Patreon, but anybody could pretty much see comments that one makes. But it's more intimate through our Telegram channel, and there's a lot of great things that I do. They get access to me in ways that you wouldn't get access to in other YouTubers. We do these weekly calls where we just break down certain things that are going on in the world, trends, It's basically a motivation. A lot of people need motivation in crypto. They need to stay on the right mindset, and I just help them navigate that and do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that people see online that discourages them. Like if they're very late to the party or feel late to the party, they just feel like, oh, I can't, it's too late now. But
Right.
it takes those certain people or groups that really help you forget about that shit and just kind of, change your life for yourself and make decisions easier, right? So I saw on your
100%.
Instagram, you have motivational quotes and posts and shorts that you post, you've grown it to over 100,000 followers. Would you say that people getting into maybe one day create their own Patreon community or become, an influencer or educator of themselves to start just creating content after you've gathered that first knowledge base, right? Just creating content first and then let the community members kind of follow once you introduce something later on, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, if one has a desire to be an influencer, then that's the path that you take. But, understand that the path that you take as a crypto influencer comes with major responsibility.
Yeah.
I think one should really respect being a crypto influencer because you have people's money at stake. And I take this shit very serious.
Yeah.
I've had people who come up who have watched me and studied me and think they can do what I do, but they find out that it ain't as easy as it looks. And, those individuals have caused people to lose a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just feel like before you even make that decision, study, and understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Understand the perspective of a crypto investor. Understand the opportunity really at hand. And, I don't think most even really understand that. You just have people who want to capitalize on a new trend because it's new. And not enough of them take this as serious as it is.
Correct.
As they should.
Yeah, just like in the NFT, like summer of 2020, when all those different NFT products were coming out, companies were understanding and seeing all the money in DeFi and in NFTs at that point. So they were like, okay, let's jump in without educating themselves first, right? So then a lot of them got burnt, didn't mint out, or floor crashed immediately after, and then their reputation is tarnished in Web3, right? And that's what we see over and over and over again. Same thing happens with influencers who maybe have had some following in some other thing, comedy or whatever. And then there's this new industry and they're seeing a lot of traction on social media. So you try to jump in, give advice, do this and that. We saw a lot of celebrities doing this with NFT collections who got burnt. Kim Kardashian had to pay. It's funny that she's the only one they went after, and she paid, $1 million or something in reparations, which is what, like half a social media post for her. So
yeah, nothing.
It's like, so a lot of influencers come in trying to extract value, right, at their gain. So they're extracting
100%.
value from other people at their own gain. And that's what we're trying to change, right? We're just trying to be thoughtfully educating people without needing something in return, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, yes, that's what we would hope that majority of these influencers are doing, but it's not the case because everybody wants money, and I feel like as long as you do good work, you'll make the money. The money will follow.
Exactly.
So that's my motto. Like, I'm not really trying to do this. I know my worth, right? I could be charging thousands of dollars, but I was led to help the little dog, the underdog, become a big dog, because this information is information that is not easily accessible.
No.
And if we think about what separates the 99% from the 1%, it's knowledge. Yeah. Knowledge equals power. So if you have the knowledge, then you have the power if it's utilized in the right way. So I felt like, there's a group of people out there who want to change their lives, but they were lacking information in this space, and they just needed somebody who had their back. I'm somebody that people can trust blindly. You can trust me blindly. And I hold that reputation very strongly because I want you to believe that. And anybody in my group can tell you, you know what I'm saying? I got people all the time. We becoming millionaires. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the technology and what we're investing in, how we see this space.
Mm.
But I just think people just need to come in this space with the right integrity and understand, like, if you don't know something, say you don't know it and try to get the information, because I've met a lot of people who are in certain places and positions in this space, and they're giving out wrong information.
Yeah.
Like, you telling me a specific wallet is not decentralized wallet, when it definitely is a problem. If you don't know the difference between centralized and decentralized, that's a big problem. And you're leading the wrong information out there to people. And, that's how people lose a lot of money, like FTX and Voyagers and all of the other exchanges.
Right.
If people understand what the difference between centralized wallets and decentralized, so many people could have saved all of the money that was just recently lost.
Yeah. Beauty of
You know?
self-custody. It's the beauty of self-custody.
Exactly.
And I'm
Exactly.
actually a little early alpha for other people, but I'm actually hosting an educational webinar, right? It's going to be a 6-week series. Every week going to be a new topic, but I'm going to try to help people create wallets and understand the difference between custodial and non-custodial wallets, hot and cold, going through
Exactly.
all of it, NFTs to the metaverse to cryptos, yada yada yada. But so let's drop some knowledge on some people. I want to hear your insights. Like, where do you see the future of currency and value exchange? You're big into Bitcoin. And how would you explain Bitcoin and other digital currencies, finding their way into society? What are your convictions?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm big on Bitcoin, personally.
Yeah.
I don't hold any Bitcoin. I
Yeah.
feel like if you're somebody who's coming from nothing, your money is not going to be made on Bitcoin.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Correct.
you can only hold so much of it. You're only going to have fractions of Bitcoin.
Correct.
So I'm big in the altcoin area. But I will say this: we do know that currency is changing, and everything is going to be digitized. We're moving into the fourth industrial revolution, which is where the physical world is merging with the digital, where robots, algorithms, AI, cryptocurrency, autonomous vehicles, all of
Mm.
this stuff is working its way into our system.
Yeah.
We can see that. I live in California. There's robots delivering DoorDash,
Yeah.
Postmates. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like where we're moving is into a digital world. The money is going to be changed. We're not going to be operating the way that we're used to operating sooner than later. And I feel like the real value is on the blockchain. The real money is on the blockchain, because these assets are underpinning the new economy, the infrastructure of the new economy.
Yeah.
So they say data is the new oil, where all of the data is going to be on chain.
Yep.
So I feel like these specific protocols, called cryptocurrency or digital assets, they will be deemed as money, like they are now.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have introductions to new currencies, which will be called CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. One
Correct.
being USDC, the digital one, which is the new dollar, and
Mm-hmm.
you have all of them, CBDCs from every country on running on blockchain. But that's where I see happening. I see a lot of the things that we see on movies and TV shows like Black Mirror, they're coming to life. And all of the technology is here because we're investing in it. And a lot of jobs that people think are safe, they're going to be losing. They're going to be replaced.
Right.
There's people right now as we speak. I think 700,000 people lost a job so far this year. So we're going to see that happen more and more. People are going to be moving and working and earning in the metaverse. I think that's where we're headed. Well, not think, I know that's where we're headed. And, I think people are in for a rude awakening if they're not aware of what's getting ready to happen.
Yeah. I think these new technologies are just going to just kind of forced the evolution and flushing out those generations that didn't deal with technology that much, because they're working a lot of
100%.
the jobs that are very simple and easily replaceable by AI, you know? So let's talk about that as we transition into a metaverse, right? And what ways do you see all these digital tools in Web3 kind of coming together to form the so-called metaverse and create these digital environments? What does a true metaverse look like?
Well, firstly, so far everything looks like it's separate, but there will come a time when everything will be interconnected.
Mm-hmm.
When the term is called interoperable, right? So all of these things are being built out now, but it's designed to come together and connect. So, I
Later.
mean, honestly speaking, say that again.
I said later, connect later,
Yeah,
once all the
right.
infrastructure is built. Yeah.
So, I mean, the infrastructure is being built now. A lot of it is being connected as we speak in
Yeah.
2023. Like we have AI enhancing and taking metaverse to the next level, and we'll see more and more of that as we continue. Stuff will be connecting, and these protocols are going to be working in conjunction with each other because you can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
And I just foresee that these assets are going to be taking on a mind of its own. I mean, even if you look at Chat GPT, Chat GPT is just the first version.
Yeah.
They want people to get used to using Chat GPT and taking that to the next level. And there's already things in the background that's going to take Chat GPT to the next level, but
Yeah.
then introduce new marketplaces, AI marketplaces and services where people can utilize them. Because ultimately, we want to get to a place where we're working alongside the AI and robots, right?
Yeah.
Like the Jetsons.
Yeah.
Everything was predicted beforehand.
Everything.
So, like, I feel like, too, like there's certain protocols that are going to, they're already here. Just, like they're going to be replacing these lawyers, attorneys, insurance agents, accountants. I mean, anything that you can think of is really getting ready to be replaced.
Yeah.
And
There's so many AI tools today on different applications. Like, you can create your own website, the full template for your website using AI. You create all the content within the website for AI. Put together videos with, what's it called when you put somebody else's face saying some script that you could generate from GBT. You could have Morgan Freeman reading a script from ChatGPT that you created, to publish or sponsor your
100%.
brand or whatever.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time.
Jordan Peele created this fake video of President Obama to demonstrate how easy it is to put words in someone else's mouth.
Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet.
Not every
Right? So like in the future, there's going to be full applications and platforms that compile all these AI tools together just to do full-blown tasks for people and companies.
100%.
So that's going to cut out so many millions of jobs. It's like just people need to understand. Just people need to understand how powerful AI is. It's like a human brain that doesn't make mistakes.
100%. I mean, if people really understood what was happening right now as we speak, I mean, we knew that AI was going to be taking off this year in 2023, right?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of there's protocols that we're invested in that are enhancing ChatGPT, that are the actual AI that is due to take over the world, so to speak. Like that mind hive brain that connects everything, that everything connects to it, and it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. The AI is already getting smarter as we speak. All of these individuals that are typing into ChatGPT, they're only helping grow the AI's intellectual ability. So, I mean, I just think, man, honestly, people are in for a rude awakening. And it's these types of conversations that need to continue to happen to bring awareness to what's going on. Because if you don't know, you won't even be needed as a CERT, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
Like, you go watch Black Mirror. The Black Mirror is telling people that you will be working in the metaverse. And you really won't be happy.
It's because people are going to just become so used to consuming content that they need so much more of it, right? And as these technologies progress and the content is more immersive and more addicting and more dopamine driven, people are
Yeah.
going to be fucking stuck in these digital societies. And it's not like we can stop it, you know? The technology is going to come either way, and there's going to be people who fall under that belt and the people who utilize it to their advantage and, you know, use it as an opportunity. So it's very interesting because a lot of society, you know, there's something that I've read. It's like 85% of society are followers, 10% are leaders, and 5% are in the middle because they don't believe either side and they just, you know, have their own opinions on the world and see it for how
Right.
it is. And I feel like all those people in the 5% are in crypto and Web3 and developing technologies, right? Seeing the future of the society. So 85% are followers. You know, a lot of these people are going to be in the metaverse consuming content and providing revenue to other content creators. You're a
Right.
consumer or you're a creator nowadays. Seriously.
100%. You know what I believe though, Mohammed? I
Uh,
believe that just from my experience, there's sheep even in crypto
yeah, man. Yeah.
because you have people.
NPCs everywhere.
Oh my God, it's so real. But you know that's why AI is going to be such a major factor, even in regard to gaming, which is going to be these new economies
Oh
that
yeah.
people are going to be playing to earn, watching to earn, moving to earn, listening to earn, reading to
Everything.
earn,
Yeah.
everything, right? So, and
Yeah.
just bringing up the NPC aspect to add to it, these AIs are going to be making these AI driven NPCs even more real
Yeah.
because now they're going to have a mind of their own. That goes to the movie. Have you ever seen Free Guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really great
You
movie.
know, of course. But
Yeah.
it's just a pre-tell to what's coming, you
Ready
know?
Player. We
There's
talked about this with other guests too. Ready Player One is we
Free
talked
Player
about
One.
this with Josh ONG, who's on the community council for Board Ape Yacht Club, and it's basically like a precursor for what society will look like, right? It's a warning. He calls it, this is a warning for what society will look like if we don't harness the technologies in a beneficial way for society. If we let the same, you know, like same processes, centralized processes that occur, take over this technology and use it for their own benefit, they're just going to have so many more levels of control over everybody until we're this
Yeah.
huge dystopia, right?
100%. Predictive programming.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I was just saying that there's a movie on Netflix called Jungle, which is pretty much talking about AI and the metaverse.
No,
And
yeah, I thought it was Jungle too. Jung E, right?
What is it? Jungi?
It's Jung E. I thought it was Jungle. It's
Oh.
Jung with the space and then E. But I watched that last
Yeah.
night. I watched that last
Yeah.
night, so explain it.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jungi. I didn't know. I thought I saw Jungle or whatever.
I know,
But
me too.
we were watching it in the community, and we're gonna have a conversation about it this weekend. But that movie, it just shows me, and it's just confirmation that I'm invested in the right areas. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It feels like every movie nowadays, you know, is running out of topics. So now they're really looking into what future society will look like and like, you know, future innovations. And we're seeing more and more and more of them trending on Netflix. Seriously. I
Yeah.
think we could probably say that all the top actors now have these at least one or two movies in this dystopian future society, you know. It's just
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's all orchestrated at the end of the day.
yeah. Yes.
Because the powers that be control every outlet to the media, and they have to tell you what they're doing before they do it. And these are just clever ways to put out the truth before it hits you. And most people just don't even see this stuff coming. I mean, I'm waiting for the movie, the remake of the Jetsons. Like, I want to see that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I know it's coming. But yeah, I just think people need to be aware. They just need to open their eyes and understand that this stuff is not fairy tale. All you have to do is tune into the recent talks that go on that recently just happened, the conference at Davos, the World Economic Forum. They are the leaders of the world who are making decisions and releasing the framework, the infrastructure, the ideas to where they're going to shift the masses.
Yep.
And that's where we're going. But like I said before, it goes back to people not doing research. They just take and listen to what they see and hear on YouTube, on the news, on in the newspaper. They don't research it. They don't go deeper. So unfortunately, millions of people, majority of the world, the sheep of the world, will be inside of the metaverse.
Yeah. And it's sad too. It's like so many people don't see the world for how it is and are constantly, following the media, centralized media, and they're fighting, with Fox and CNN, and they're both getting fed the same story with a different fucking angle and perspective. It's like, bro, don't you guys see this from both sides? How probably, the story that's not on either of these channels is the truth. Like,
Right.
don't you guys see that? So it's like so many people are already manipulated to the and I wanted to bring up how you said how the powers that be have to show their hand before they play it, right? Like they show it with movies and there's I'm not spiritual or religious in like a big way, but there was something that I read about like evil and demonic stuff, how when people are in the Illuminati or had, kind of given their soul to the devil, that they have to show their hands before they do evil shit. That's why we see all these weird pedophilia and bondage with kids and like with the Balenciaga saga. Like, dude, they did all this on purpose. It's like the powers that be behind that company have some sort of contract with some sort of being so that they have to kind of show us what evil shit that they're doing, and it's
100%.
scary. And not many people can
Yeah.
speak about it and be unfiltered about it, but fuck it.
Well, yeah, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Not a lot of people can because many of the people in certain positions of influence, they have signed deals with those powers that be.
Exactly.
So I'm free from it. I'm in Hollywood. I know how Hollywood runs. I come from an entertainment family, and I'm a firm believer that the evil is real. I've
Yep.
seen demons right in front of my face in Hollywood, and they're hidden in plain sight. Some
Yeah,
of the
man.
people that you think are the most brilliant producers are the most evilest motherfuckers on the planet.
Yeah.
Even these celebrities.
Yeah.
So, and the sad thing, Mohammed, is that people can see what these companies are doing in plain sight. People talk about it, put out the truth, but people go right back to supporting them.
Yeah.
So where's the logic?
Yeah.
There's a disconnect.
There is.
So
There's a huge disconnect.
I just think it's sad, man. But this is the world we live in. It's good and evil. There's a balance of good and evil, dark versus light. I
Yeah.
mean, Star Wars has told us this over and over again. There is beings, a galactic federation out here that is overseeing
Yeah.
Earth. Just because the evil is here, there's a hierarchy. There's levels to this shit.
Yeah.
And you ever seen certain people who speak out on certain topics, they end up getting killed?
Yeah.
Look at the crypto influencers the crypto billionaires that have been killed recently over time. Why are they getting killed?
Dude, did you ever see the guy in the Bahamas, the MakerDAO founder?
Yeah.
Yeah. The MakerDAO founder speaks up about the Mossad and different elite groups having some sort of sex trafficking and pedophile ring running out of the Bahamas, which has always been a rumor, with the Epsteins, and the Bahamas has always been for evading certain things, yada yada.
Where was Sam Bankman-Fried at?
He was there. So
Exactly.
this kid tweets about all this, and the next day they find him washed up in the Bahamas on a shore dead, And it's just like when you poke the bear, like the big bear, the bear that looks over everybody, the bear that makes bears when they want the cycles to change, That's crazy. Right? But when you look over, when you start poking it, there's some powerful powers out there that don't give a fuck about anybody but maintaining what's here, right? What's been established for a century. So
yeah, and no, you're absolutely right. But here, you know what, Mohammed? You're right with everything you said, right? But there are people out here that those beings cannot touch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Just because those beings are governed by something more powerful than them. And I'm willing to put the bank on that because I should have been dead a long time ago.
Yeah.
But here I am doing God's work. So if anybody is in disbelief if God is real or not, all you got to do is look at my life, because I'm living proof, and I'm going to continue to do and live in the way that serves the Most High. Because, and it's not that you're not to discredit anybody who's not spiritual or religious or anything. I can eat food with a devil worshiper, right? It's just your food is going to be burnt and mine's is going to be just glowing and shining. You know what I'm saying? It's just a big difference. So, to each his own. But, I just think there are powers that govern over the world, but there also are powers of light that are even more stronger than those of the dark. But you're right, man. A lot of times people come up missing, even with your boy John McAfee.
Yeah.
He, just speaking about the tweets, he released some tweets about some information, and he put the location, which was in Florida, in Miami, and next couple of days, shit gets bombed.
Crazy, man.
Right?
Crazy. Yeah. They burnt the whole building down, didn't they?
Yeah, they took the whole building. They don't care who was living there, because the information, they don't want that information out. And especially when you have, and I think too, a lot of these other crypto billionaires who died, I also believe there was more to the story. I feel like they want control of those assets that they had, because those people had a lot of Bitcoin. They had a lot of Ethereum. You know what I'm saying? Those core assets. And I think a lot of times too, they come to them in the background and they want them to play ball in a particular way. We want you to park this money here. And they don't do it, because, crypto people, we're rebels in our own way. And, so I feel like they didn't play ball in those ways, and they wipe them out, take the money.
Tough, man. It's tough. All right. So knowing what you know about the business world and, going through Hollywood and seeing different situations, different parts of the world, what virtues or principles do you stand by as a human and as an entrepreneur? What would you tell somebody, like, these are principles that I look for in somebody that I would go into business with them, and I would trust them?
Integrity, authenticity, common sense.
Social IQ is important. It really is.
Yeah, very, very. But people who do what they say and say what they mean.
Yeah. Your word has weight.
And somebody who is a believer in some kind of higher power.
Yeah.
Because those who believe in that do as thy will, type of way, you're liable to do any damn thing to somebody. And that I'm very cautious on dealing with people like that. But mainly, man, just people who want to better themselves, people who are living of a righteous lifestyle. I've dealt with a lot of people, man. I've dealt with a lot of sharks, a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
And I had to deal with them because I felt like I needed them. But I don't need anybody but God.
Yeah.
I want to work with people who understand the power within them.
Yeah.
So authenticity, man, integrity is key. Because it's just not out there like that.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people who are willing to do anything to get ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Exactly what you just said. And I was just about to say, humans are inherently self-interested. They're inherently greedy. Since the times of, conquerors and lands being divided, and, self-interest has always been our demise. So it's like, how do people go about their lives idolizing other people over a higher power, or not believing in something greater than people? People are all driven by their own self-interest at the end of the day. That's why the only people you can really trust in the day are your parents, family members, but even family members will betray you. It's like even parents will betray you too, man. It's so at the end of the day, who you have to trust, like yourself, and knowing that there's something above all these other people, just kind of guiding your life and playing your fate out how it's supposed to play out.
Yeah. No,
It's
100%, man. It's
interesting.
hard finding good people that you
It
can
is.
trust.
It is. It is.
And when you
Yeah.
find them, you want to hold on to them.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
But it's hard, man. Hopefully you got some good people that you can depend on, and but that's why, it even results back to this. Like, even in crypto, you need somebody of authenticity,
Yeah.
integrity, someone who doesn't need to gain. Nope, somebody who's not self-interested.
Mm-hmm.
Because the little money that I do charge, it don't really benefit me. I'll make more money in crypto than anything. You know what I'm saying? But there's an exchange that needs to happen in any type of service or exchange or spiritual gift, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those things are key, man. You just want to be able to find people that you can trust. And it's very hard. And when you find them, you want to hold on to them. That's why I've had people with me since they entered my community, and they ain't gonna leave because I there's too much value that's provided, and you won't get it anywhere. And people leave and they come back. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome, man. It's important to have a community of people who trust you and genuinely see your intentions for doing good, because as we've learned here, we're both out on this mission, and we both feel like we got this purpose to like do right by kind of our, I would say our ancestors, like my people in Lebanon, and
good word,
right? Just to kind of to bring more opportunity to a country that maybe, or country that offers a lot of it here, but to countries that don't offer a lot of it across the world.
100%.
Yeah. So you talked about how you've been in the industry since 2016, and you've made connections with people. So what have you guys gathered for the future of crypto? Like, what Web3 cryptocurrencies or companies, Web3 companies or cryptos excite you for the future? Let us hear some alpha.
Yeah, I'll tell you a couple. Since we're talking about AI, Singularity Net is one that is going to change the world. They're already changing the world. You'll hear more and more about them. I don't know if you've ever heard or seen the robot Sophia that does these interviews.
Yeah.
So they're behind that alongside Hanson Robotics. It's called, token ticker is AGIX. I'm a firm believer in Tron, TRX. And the last one I'll tell you is Hedera Hashgraph. Now, of course, if you were in my community, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we have, but these are great assets that I can definitely just put my name on, and you can see over time that they'll rise up, and you'll just see they'll be more and more adopted globally. And the companies and the tech speaks for itself, and the utility of those assets speaks for itself, and there's nothing out there like them.
Good. And so when you're looking at these companies, like the ones you mentioned, are you looking for certain news events or fundamentals behind them? A certain fixed supply or market cap that you certain volume, weekly, monthly. What fundamentals do you look for? Is it just kind of based on the technicals of the technology and the company behind it?
Well, yeah. Well, firstly, when you're looking at these crypto projects, a lot of times, and when I got in, we're investing in startups, right? Now, a lot of them have become full-grown companies, but you want to have your investor mindset of you investing in a startup. So you want to read the white paper, look at the goals, look at the team, look and analyze the team, and see if the team makes sense in order to achieve the goal that they're setting out to achieve within that white paper.
Correct.
So you research them, connect the dots. We look at who's investing in them. Of course, we look at the tokenomics, but a lot of some certain factors don't really matter. And other YouTubers will bring up all that hocus pocus BS, but a lot of it doesn't really matter. But we look into, of course, news articles make it play into it. We read Medium blog posts. A lot of times, these assets, they tell you the biggest alpha in places where you need to read. And I've seen these websites show one way in like 2018, 2019. Fast forward to 2023, this shit is not even the same. And what they told you before is not what's being presented now, but it's still in play, but they've just updated and things have gone to the next level. So I feel like if you want to know the future, you need to go back to the past, because there's a whole lot of alpha in areas where people are not looking. People are only looking what YouTubers present, and the YouTubers aren't even presenting the real shit. Just immerse yourself with that info. Don't neglect and overlook white papers. I hear people say, "Oh, anybody who's looking at white papers is stupid." Like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand the importance of the white paper.
Yeah.
And these are new YouTubers and influencers who are saying this type of stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God, you're actually literally.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not all white papers are foolproof. You have to see who's writing the white paper, who's involved behind the company. Like a lot of people get scared from white papers because during the NFT craze and the IPO phase, it's like everybody was coming up with white papers and they were all similar, right? So it's like now that we're past the saturated bullshit, though, a white paper is where they're telling you, here, this is the game plan, like this is our vision. And obviously, like you said, sometimes they change, but depending on who you're trusting in from a company standpoint, you should be okay with that if that happens in an event. But sometimes if you're investing in like a more sus company and they just change the roadmap on you, like maybe after the seed or something, because they had something in the terms of service that said this is how we envision the roadmap planning out or something, it's subject to change, right? So a lot of people don't even see that. And it's like
wording is everything.
Wording is everything. And they'll tell you right in their terms, like, listen, we're writing all this, we're promising all this, but none of this is promised. Like, these are our promises, but we're not promising it. It can change.
100%. I mean, you're investing in a startup. So if people understood that from the gate, then they would understand how to approach crypto investments in the beginning. Exactly. You know what I mean?
It's just they're startups with another layer for the community building, for transacting, for data storage. It's just another layer for interacting with community and using all the tools that we have digitally, in a concise way, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And, I think people should know this too. Not every protocol or project or business that's operating in blockchain technology, they don't have to constantly update you. If they say it's an open source protocol, that means what it says. It's an open source protocol. So they have already got it to the place to where it's open, and the team doesn't need to be there because it's self-sustainable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's meant for autonomous vehicles and autonomous things, IoT, to interconnect and speak to each other, and for these autonomous vehicles to self-custody themselves and earn money and pay themselves. So, you don't really need a team at that point.
That's crazy.
It's all, like you said, it's about wording and understanding what we're reading and comprehending and reading in between the lines. I don't think people do that well.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still in this centralized society, and people need to understand that pretty much everything is exploitative, or taking your data, or profiting off of you online in some way, whether you're buying a product or taking your information in some way. You're the what's the saying if you're not the something, you're the product. If you're not paying for a service online, then you're the product, because if you're not paying for a service, that means that they're getting paid by using your data and selling it to other companies. That's their only service. There was an example that we had, like if you're in a loading screen or an ad pops up for a weird Candy Crush type game or a very simple game, right? That game is free. They don't make any money. The only thing that they're making money on is collecting your email address or your IP address or your phone number and selling that to other companies who need to know what data metrics you hit while you were on this advertisement or whatever it is, right? It's crazy. That's how the digital economy works in terms of monetizing on free services. It's all data, all data.
So imagine owning the protocols to these play to earn games, free play to earn games, and merge that with the blockchain and all that data. So you know, that's where we're going to see these Axie Infinity numbers again.
So what do you? Let's talk about that. We have a few more questions. Like, what's your opinion on NFTs and how they play a role in forming these new digital economies?
You know, I think the only NFTs of value are ones with true utility. So that being in-game assets, or specific NFTs with a real protocol behind them, like Alethea AI, so to speak, which is bringing PFP NFTs to life with AI. But all of this other hocus pocus PFP bullshit, it's over and dead with. There's no money in NFTs. The real money is on the chain, which is the blockchain protocols. So I have NFTs, yes, but only a select few, but in-game assets that I can use to leverage and mortgage and rent out when play-to-earn economies take off.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't be investing in NFTs personally.
I've bought, I'd say over 500 NFTs in the past few years. A lot of bullshit, a lot of solid things that I like. It took me minting a lot of bullshit to find out that utility, gaming, connection, community building is all that really matters in NFTs, right? It's all about the NFTs are just tickets that access utility in many different ways, whether it's just connecting with people digitally, having a ticket to a video game in the future. I've got so many different NFTs that I view as characters in video games in the future, right?
Right.
Like my Bored Ape Yacht Club mutants are a prime example. Like I've got both of them locked up right now in their staking protocol, and I'm making $3,500 a month in ApeCoin for staking these two assets on their protocol, right?
That makes sense.
And this is going to be accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. They raised $500 million in their seed round, right? Backed by some of the biggest funds in the world. And when this video game comes to fruition and I have a lot of the money that is transacting within this metaverse, right? That's free. That's like, dude.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the type of shit that I'm on. But and I can make it for that.
Imagine if all the Fortnite, like I always bring this up for people, like metaverse, a comparison is Fortnite, that big map. Think about that as a metaverse and all the properties, characters, skins, everything in there was a limited supply and had a fixed number of assets, right? That means that the value is going to trickle to the rarest, the highest, the highly sought out assets that are typically, low quantity in how many are out there in supply. Right. So it's like if you some people buy like skins for $50, $100, right? But the skin is not theirs. It's Fortnite's. You're just paying to access the skin and use it and flex on other people. But somebody else could buy the skin. You can't verify that, hey, there's only 50 of these skins in the world. So if you enter this mint and you win this skin, then you have all of this value in this character, in this skin now, that you can sell at free market, secondary market value. Whatever the true Fortnite community values this at, you can resell it for that. That's an NFT. That's the future. It's Fortnite with all of those properties and houses inside of it, actually owned by owners. All the characters actually owned by owners. Everything going through this ecosystem is the digital monetarily, you can transact with it in an actual monetary sense. It's future of gaming.
Yep. In-game assets are the NFTs to hold. And, there's also the next evolution of NFTs, which it combines programmable NFTs with AI. So they can take on a mind of their own. So owning the protocols and stuff like that and owning in-game assets to where we could earn yield on or rent out, mortgage, utilize and combining with guilds, that makes sense. But don't bring me no PFPs because I don't want them.
That shit is done, man. That shit is done. It was done last year. I'm glad though. But the future of NFTs is just honestly like dude, dynamic NFTs, for instance, like you were talking about AI. So like AI NFTs that are tied to the API of some sort of metric, right? Like let's say the sea level rising or falling, and the art on your wall, the sea level is rising and falling with the metric, right? So in the same sense, let's say in the future we have like a watch, a health watch, Apple Watch, and it's tied to an art piece on our wall that says what our mood is. So like the art piece is happy or sad or tired, or like the heartbeat is beating fast. The art on the wall will kind of emulate it. That shit is coming.
Oh
It's
yeah, for
coming.
sure.
It's coming.
Augmented reality is the next trend, and
Yeah.
combine that with NFTs.
Yeah.
Apple has their glasses coming out, Google. So yeah, man, you're right. I mean, all of this stuff is here, and I'm sure it seems like you got your head on the swivel in regard to making this passive income in regard to
I got
NFT
into
staking.
crypto while I was working at a law office in Miami. I was clerking because I wanted to get into law. I was studying for the LSAT, and I'm like, dude, what? Like every day I'm doing paperwork, the same shit but different name, same shit, different name. It's like I'm made for more, like I can't do this monotonous life that so many people accept. So
Right.
so that brings me, let's close it up. Like
Yeah,
what are your
kudos to
biggest
you.
I'm 24.
No, I just said kudos to you.
Oh, I thought you said how old are you?
Oh no.
Thank you, brother.
But yeah, no, let's wrap it because I'm off to get a facial.
So yeah, so like so what are your biggest motivators in life? What's your hunger? Where does your success drive come from? We kind of talked about it a little bit, but knowing what you know now, if you could travel back and speak to Brandon as a teenager or Brando as a teenager.
Brando. Yeah.
My bad.
You good.
What advice would you give Brando?
I would tell him,
honestly, just getting to where you're at.
yeah, I would tell him, trust your intuition.
Yeah.
Trust yourself more, because it was me trusting me, which got me to this position. I would also tell him to ignore the hate.
Yeah.
And choose your friends wisely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those are the things I would tell him, because him knowing that would have avoided a lot of bullshit, a whole lot.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? Also, just to lean on God, throughout any and everything, because I veered away at a certain point, but God held me down throughout the entire time, and even my ancestors, like you said before, so that's what I would tell them.
Yeah. All right, brother. Well, Brando, it was a pleasure speaking to you. A pleasure to meet you. Hopefully we can link up, do something. If you're in South Florida, hit us up.
Yeah, no, let's definitely do it. I'll be in Florida soon, and we'll chop it up.
Come to the studio. We can have another in-person episode.
Let's do it better there, because I feel like the one-on-one vibe, collectively.
No, we'll get all the brains involved for sure.
100%. Let's do it. It was good talk, though. I appreciate this.
Have a good one, man.